And now, Chex Mix presents WWE Royal Rumble 1 versus all.
And welcome everyone to a very special WWE. This is the Royal Rumble. We've been on hiatus.
Hiatus? Who's got a hiatus? Is that a
No, Dave, we've been
medical condition?
No, we've been on hiatus.
I've got
It
a
means
pretty, I guess it's scented anus?
No, Dave, it's
What?
got nothing to do with an anus.
Oh.
We've just been away for a few weeks.
Well, why don't you just say that? You're speaking
Because
another
that's what they
fucking
say,
language.
it's hiatus.
No,
Anyway.
you're speaking another fucking language just to sound smarter than you
It's-
actually are. You always do this.
Yeah, whatever, Dave. My name is Dexter the Sexter, and my co-host here, who's a complete
I'm Dave,
moron,
I'm Dave
is...
running out of things to rhyme with Dave McKraken.
Well, you should probably learn the English language a bit better, Dave. There's plenty that rhymes
You're not speaking English with
You
your
could say
hiatuses.
flapping, what's happening.
Yeah, I've done what's happening. I've done the second
Dave, I'm strapping McKraken.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to use that one next time.
Well, I just used it, Dave. So
Well, no, I'm going to steal it.
slapping.
He's
Anyway.
I'll tell you, getting a slapping right now. This guy right now is getting a good old slapping.
Yes, so our first
slapping
match
on his big tapping. See, I can rhyme.
Yeah, not very well, Dave. So our first match tonight is the Punisher versus Bane, Dave.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Punisher, I'm really looking forward to the new Defenders TV series that's going to be coming out on Netflix soon.
Defenders TV series, you say?
Yeah, so there'll be the Punisher, Daredevil, and
They got
Jessica
Daredevil,
Jones.
like, so people are getting fight out of cannons.
No, Dave, Daredevil.
Is that like the Evil
Marvel's...
Knievel?
No,
Is that
Dave.
be a motorbike?
It's Marvel's Daredevil, you know, the guy that's blind but has all
I know
like...
it's a Marvel when they go up in the sky and they have all the like
Dave,
shooting
not a
fireballs
Marvel.
and like sometimes they go over shark-filled tanks. It's amazing. You could call it marvelous even. I don't know why you're saying just it's a Marvel.
It's not, Dave, it's Marvel, the comic book character, bloody company. Marvel, Stan Lee's Marvel. It's not nothing to do with being a Marvel. It's Marvel Comics. So Punisher is part of Marvel Comics and Bane's DC
I thought
Comics.
Stan Lee was an author.
Yeah, of comics.
Ah. Wait, how can you write comics? Don't you draw comics?
Yeah, well, both. You have to have a story for a comic. It's not just a bunch of random pictures, Dave.
Yeah, it is. It's a bunch of random pictures with
That
little...
tell a story.
How much story can you really tell with all those little bubbles?
What do you mean? There's a whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. In fact, Spiderman
Yeah,
just
so you
came
can-
out this last week.
Yeah, you can make a movie about it. You can't make a story out of bubbles.
What are you talking about, Dave? There's a story. Everyone knows, like Spider-Man, there's a story.
If I
Peter
just start
Parker.
blowing bubbles right now, like
Peter
will they just
Parker's
start
bitten
forming
by a
words and
spider.
it'll
He
create some
becomes
kind of plot?
superhuman, like
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and then his uncle dies.
It's kind of
and-
ridiculous, don't you think? I mean, like,
Well, that's the whole
I've been
point.
bitten by a spider plenty of times, and I haven't got any kind of super.
It was
I
a
got quite sick.
It was a radioactive
I had to go
spider,
to the
Dave.
hospital. Well, I feel like that
wasn't
wouldn't-
your everyday redback.
Well, that would kill me.
Exactly, but it was a radioactive one.
That still would kill me.
Well, I mean, that's what the whole point is. It's that it's not true.
That he's meant to die. I'm not really following.
none of these superheroes would really exist, Dave.
Well, of course they don't exist. That's why they're not in the real world. I still can't figure out why we haven't at least got one billionaire superhero, though. They've got, like, Bill Gates and, like, what the hell's he doing with all his money? Like, well, why is he not, like, formed, like, some crazy, like, suit and formed a band of heroes out there and goes around stopping crime at night?
Well, funnily enough,
It's a waste of funds,
that
if you ask
movie
me.
Kick-Ass that had like the kid that wanted to be a superhero and just started like solving crimes or whatever.
Yeah, I love that
There was
movie.
actually a guy in real life who dressed up as a superhero and went around like breaking up crack dens. There was a whole book on it.
Really?
Yeah, so I guess like
Well,
that's
was
the
he a
closest we've
millionaire?
come. No, he definitely wasn't a millionaire. He was just some dude in
Well,
a
then
suit.
how do you afford all the gadgets?
He didn't have gadgets, Dave. He just had a suit and went in and like busted up crack dens.
Well, what did he use as a weapon then? Did he have like, you know, some kind of spray that came out his wrist or some kind of like,
I think
you
he
know,
just had, like,
rocket-powered,
everyday-
like laser firing eyes?
I think he just had like everyday kind of things. He like found a place and called
What do you
the
mean
police.
everyday things? Like
a telephone.
Washing detergent?
No, like he found a
A
crack
telephone?
den and like
But
called
he
the
just like
police.
fucking threw telephones at people.
No, Dave, he didn't throw telephones at people. He used the telephones to call the authorities and like busted up the crack dens.
Well, I mean, like, anyone could do that. You don't really need to wear a superhero outfit to call the cops.
I mean, people don't actively go out looking for gangs and then calling them in.
You don't need to. They come to you if you live in a shitty enough neighborhood.
What do you mean they come to you?
But it's the whole thing with gangs. They just roam the street looking for mayhem and mischief.
Yeah, but it's not the same as identifying where a crack den is and then
they're everywhere.
Getting it shut down.
I mean, that's what they say. Like, you know, if they have like those sneakers hanging over the telephone poles, like that's how you identify crack dens. Well, I always get very confused as to like which house you would actually know is a crack den, because like telephone poles are not really that specific. They're kind of in the middle of the street. So is it the house on the left side or is it the house on the right side?
No, Dave, I think you'll find that's just one of those urban myths.
And why do people hang? We got a pin here.
And no Bane kicks out.
Why is it that people hang shoelaces from telephone poles in?
I imagine it's just for the amusement of throwing shoes up onto a telephone line.
I'm never going to understand this world.
Well, no one expects you to, Dave.
Well, that's good.
And speaking of Marvel characters, I had the pleasure of seeing the new Spider-Man film this week, and I must say, it was quite good, Dave.
Wait, there's a new Spider-Man film?
Yeah.
We're talking about, like, the Amazing Spider-Man. That kind of came out years ago.
No, Dave, it's not the Amazing Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man Homecoming, and it was the introduction of Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, who played Spider-Man, then?
Tom Holland. And he did a really, really good job, Dave.
It sounds like you said Tobey Maguire, but you didn't say Tobey Maguire.
No, Dave, I didn't say Tobey Maguire. It was Tom Holland.
Why is it not Tobey Maguire?
Because he's not really a good Spider-Man, Dave.
What do you mean he's not a good Spider-Man? He was the original Spider-Man. He is the only Spider-Man.
He's definitely not the only Spider-Man, Dave. And being the original doesn't make you the best.
Did you see his performance? Like, you cannot get any closer to a Spider-Man than what Tobey Maguire got to Spider. He is literally Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker as Tobey Maguire. That's what it was all about. Wait, we got another pin happening here.
And that was a win from Punisher. And Dave, I have to very much disagree with you.
We're going to continue this conversation another point.
Yeah.
But you are very, very wrong.
Well, Tobey Maguire was the furthest thing from the comic book version of Spider-Man that you could possibly get.
How can you say that?
Well, all he did was whine the whole 3 films.
What do you mean?
He's just a whiny little bitch.
What was he whining
and then what was
about?
with the emo thing? I mean, like, he merges with the symbiote and turns into an emo?
He wasn't
That's not
an emo.
Spider-Man.
He was just doing his hairstyle to the side, and it was all dark and
like
broody.
His idea of being like dark and bad was to like dance in the street like a fucking moron.
What do you mean? It wasn't. Did you see his moves?
But what's that got to do with being evil? Like in the comics, he like nearly kills the villains, and they like he's not meant to just dance in the street and be an asshole to his girlfriend.
He had so much swag just dripping off him while he was dancing.
Dave, a symbiote merging with someone doesn't make them a swag.
Yeah, he was not a swag.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following match is for the Divas Championship title. Please put your hands together for the first contender and challenger of the title.
I mean, like,
but speaking
at
of
least
match
Tom, at least Tom Holland.
Gay people.
What do you mean gay? Dave, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean
I could have sworn I heard somebody mention gay people.
Who mentioned gay people? I was talking about Tom Holland.
Not gang people. We were talking about that before. Gay people.
Yeah, but who mentioned a gay person?
Well, isn't this chick? She's got a gay sister, doesn't she?
On the TV series, she does, yeah.
Well, yeah. So there, gay person.
No, but no one actually mentioned gay people, Dave. You mentioned gay people.
Well, I mean, I was just saying what we're all thinking.
No, you weren't, Dave.
I am. I mean, like...
And introducing our opponent, the current Divas World Champion, it's Katana!
I think you've got to be the only person that sees Supergirl and automatically goes to gay people.
I mean, well, it's all, like, you know, anyone's thinking about right now. I mean, like... I'm not sure if you've heard, but like Tyler, the Creator, like quite a prominent like hip hop artist. He was like, you know, formed the group like Odd Future. It was also with like who's that guy, Frank Ocean, like another gay person, mind you. Like they're all coming out as gay. This group Odd Future. Like recently, like he like dropped an album, and like there's all these lines in it, like little like gay breadcrumbs that he's left as a trail, like basically coming out of the closet via his album. Apparently he's been trying to do it for years. There's like all these tweets that are coming to the servers now where he was trying to like come out of the closet. And like, yeah, it's this whole big thing right now. Everyone wants to know, is Tyler the Creator gay?
Alright, I got 3 questions here, Dave, or 3 comments.
All right.
I'm not sure if they're questions or comments yet.
Shoot.
So the first is, how do you know anything about hip-hop when it's so beyond your cultural repertoire? It's not even funny. Why are you so obsessed whether all these people are gay or not? And even if they are gay, why does it matter? Because what has that got to do with anything?
I'm not the
that
one
they're
making them gay. They're the ones coming out as gay.
I didn't say that you're making them gay. I said you're obsessed with them being gay.
I didn't mention the fact that they were gay. They're the ones that decided to, like, you know, say, hey, yoo-hoo, I've got some news. And they decided to, you know, make a whole big fucking parade about it. Like... And like, I never, like, at the end of the day...
I don't think they talk like that, Dave. And how are they making a parade about it?
It's interesting. It's interesting. It's something that, you know, you don't think about when you see somebody. If it turns out that they're gay, that's a little bit like, you know... It's something that, you know, stands out.
Why does it stand out? Why does it matter? You don't look at someone and go, oh, he looks heterosexual. I bet he slams a girl.
Yes, you do.
You look at guys and think that, oh, he looks hetero.
You can tell when the guy's like got lots of big muscles and he's checking himself out in the gym. A real big, burly, manly man, constantly kissing his pecs, sometimes kissing other dudes' pecs. He just likes pecs so much. He's so manly. Like, you can definitely tell that guy's straight.
He's probably not straight, Dave.
Hey, man, did you just hear the description I gave you? Like, that's literally the definition of macho.
But why are you looking at his pecs so much?
Because they were huge.
I mean, you can't just tell
you
that
can't
someone's...
not notice some guy's pecs. Like, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger take off his shirt and you're not going to look away.
I'm not going to look at him either. I'm not really that interested in Arnold Schwarzenegger's
If you're not looking
pecs.
away, you're not looking at him. You can't be looking at nothing.
I'll look at his face, Dave. If that's what if I'm talking to Arnold Schwarzenegger like we have,
but if he's
look at his
shirtless, you
face.
can't look at his face because his nipples are just staring at you way more fiercely than his eyes are.
I don't believe that's the case at all. And what about like someone like Neil Patrick Harris who's gay? I mean, you wouldn't guess that. Or
MPH is gay?
Yeah, of course he's
This is
gay.
what I'm saying. Like, this should be news. Like, why was that not headline news? Why was he not going around on all these talk shows, like, admitting, like, you know, the truth?
Everyone knew that Neil Patrick Harris was gay. Or it's like
I didn't know he was gay.
Jim Parsons is gay. You know, the guy that plays Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang. He's gay.
He's not gay.
Of course he's gay.
He's a little weird, but he's not gay.
Dave, his character's not the same person as the actor. Just because the character's weird doesn't mean the actor's weird.
There's no way he could be that good of an actor.
Well, I mean, he's not Sheldon Cooper, Dave.
There's got to be a little of a crossover. As in, like, that's why, like, if they've got a gay character on TV, like, that's why they get gay people to play gay characters. You can't be a straight person that plays a gay character.
Of course you can, Dave. They do it all the time.
What?
The guys on Modern Family aren't actually gay in real life, but they play a gay couple. They even had a gay marriage.
No, I mean, like, even, like, you know, those two guys, like Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy that played the Joker, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger's not gay, Dave.
They came out when they did that gay movie.
Heath Ledger wasn't gay, Dave.
Why'd they do the gay movie?
Well, because he got casted for the part. Doesn't mean he's gay.
And why would they cast him for the part if they?
Because he's a good actor, or was a good actor.
You know, we don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, just because he's good at acting doesn't mean he's gay. What, you mean, so you're trying to say, like, Ben Affleck must be Batman in real life because he plays a good Batman?
He didn't play a good Batman, though.
He did. He played arguably the best.
It was a terrible Batman.
No, it was a terrible film, but he was a good Batman. There's a difference.
Sometimes I wonder how you come to your conclusions.
Oh, well, let's go to, like, bloody Robert Downey Jr. then.
He's not
everyone
gay.
Everyone knows he plays it. No, he plays a good Tony Stark. That doesn't mean he actually is Tony Stark.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he's not Dave. He's Robert Downey Jr.
He's a, like, arrogant, like, full of himself millionaire, playboy.
I didn't know that you knew him in person, Dave.
I follow the headlines. That's how I know that this guy's gay. That's how you would know, like, you know, like, if you follow the news from time to time, like, you know, you learn a thing or two.
I definitely follow the news more than you, Dave, but just reading a headline doesn't make you knowledgeable.
No, not the boring bullshit politics, who's fighting, that's boring. I'm talking about the entertainment news.
Do you mean like the paparazzi nonsense?
Yeah, the interesting stuff, like who's dating who, who's, like, you know, on this new diet, who really likes smoking pole and who really doesn't? These are the questions that are on everybody's mind, and the only things that really matter in life.
I don't think you should say smoking pole, Dave. It's not really like, you know,
what?
Politically correct to say smoking pole.
What's right? It's what they do. Once again, I'm not the one that's like making them do this. I'm not the one that's making this up. They're the ones that are doing it on their own accord.
You're not making it up, but the people that you're reading it from probably make it up more often than not.
What are you talking about? Like TMZ is one of the most credible sources around.
Definitely not, Dave.
They are. That's how, like, you can't just take a picture and then just add a caption to it and then all of a sudden, like, you know, just start spreading rumors. People aren't that dumb.
They are that dumb, Dave.
See, no,
they do it on Facebook every day. You don't have to work for TMZ to do it.
This is why you struggle to make friends, because you're always insulting everybody. You're always putting everybody down and like.
Well, I can't help that at least 80% of the population are fucking idiots, Dave. Yourself included.
Well, I'm 80% of the population.
No, you're included in 80% of the population that are stupid and listening to things that aren't even true.
You see, I'm in the like. Doesn't that ring a bell to you? Like, I'm in the 80%, you're in the 20%. See, I'm on the winning team. I'm on the winning side. You're in lonely 20% town.
I'd rather be in the 20% that are right than the 80% that are wrong. Do you know at least? I can't remember the stat.
It's all. Wait, how can you even know they're right?
Did you know that 13% of Americans thought that chocolate milk came from brown cows?
It does, doesn't it? How do they get it brown then?
The chocolate makes it brown.
Yeah, and they get the chocolate swirling around. Like, you feed the chocolate to the cows, and that's how you get the chocolate milk.
No, you put chocolate in the milk after you've got it from the cows, Dave.
But that's just way too much of a complicated process.
Have you ever put Milo into a milk?
Yeah.
And what happens?
Well, yeah, it turns Milo-y.
And what color is Milo?
But if you get Milo from one of those like pre-mixed packets, it's already got the Milo in it.
Well, because they put it in before you bought it.
Exactly. And that's what they do
Doesn't
with the
mean
cows.
It came
They're
from
putting the chocolate
brown
in the
cow,
cows
Dave.
before it comes out.
Dave, you're a fucking idiot.
They're saving the steps.
Just proving my point.
Well, I don't think I proved anything other than proving you wrong.
And at least half of America thinks that the world's only 6,000 years old. A small proportion of that now think the Earth is flat.
Well, we're never going to really
including Eddie Bravo.
We're never ever going to know how old the Earth really is.
Well, of course we do. That's what science is for, Dave.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's like they've got a diary that was like written at the very start of time. You're never going to know how time started. You literally would have to have like the first guy that was there at the dawn of time writing his diary. Okay, day one of dawn of time, this is what happened. And it's the only way you're ever going to know.
Well, aside from the fact that human history dates back at least 40,000 years, we also have carbon dating, Dave. So that's how we know how old things are.
Carbon, how can you date stuff with that gas that you can't even see?
I really don't have time for this, Dave. You should have stayed in school a bit longer.
I finished. I went all through school. I also went into college, and
Dave, you definitely didn't go to college.
I went to a college.
Donald Trump's college doesn't mean anything, Dave.
It existed for a while.
Yeah, and the reason it got shut down is because it was bullshit.
No, it's because the world wasn't ready. The world's never ready for the next step in greatness. In fact, that was the slogan of the school, the world isn't ready.
I don't think that was the slogan, Dave.
It was what I saw on the plaque every day I walked in.
Well, obviously your reading ability is quite low.
I mean, like, yeah, I sometimes have to I sometimes wear glasses because I struggle to see, but it doesn't affect my reading ability. It just makes the words blurry sometimes.
Well, I mean, if you need glasses and you're not wearing glasses, of course it would stop you from being able to read properly.
Yeah, but I can't wear those things all the time.
And Supergirl using the signature move that Superman uses, and this could be the end of the match, Dave.
Wait, isn't
one?
Actually, talking about the match now.
And no, Katana kicked out, and the match will continue.
I mean, honestly, I didn't even really think that we were watching these anymore.
Oh, I mean,
are you actually still watching these matches?
I'm always watching it, Dave. That's our job. Just because we occasionally get distracted with your stupidity.
Well, it's not distracted. We're given the, I mean, I thought we were in agreement by now that, like, no one gives a shit about what's going on in the ring right now. Like the fans, like, clearly have come for, like, we are the entertainment. This is just a sideshow thing. I mean,
I don't think the thousands of people in attendance in this stadium who can't hear us have come to listen to us.
We could have flicking lights just going on the stage right now, and no one would notice a difference. You could just have
of course they would, Dave.
You could just have two of those inflatable blow-up dolls just like beating each other to death, and people would still be cheering. I mean, none of this crowd is even real. They're just like this guy, like he's just cheering for no reason right now.
What do you mean? They're cheering because the Supergirl just slammed Katana into the ground, and they're obviously rooting for Supergirl.
I mean, it's all just...
Look, now they're getting excited because there's a pin.
It's all just smoke and mirrors.
And Supergirl looked like she had it, but Blunder Bob screwed up again.
I mean, I feel like if you just follow this like one guy in the blue shirt, he's just going to be doing the same thing again and again and again. It's almost like he's like graphics or something, or some kind of, I don't know, computer-programmed robot.
One could say the same about us, Dave, where you seem to always make the same movements over and over.
Yeah, but I mean, that's for emphasis.
And for some reason, our appearance changes depending on the series that we're
we've got a pin.
With.
That's two. That's it.
And that's the match. And we've got a new Divas champion, Dave. It is Supergirl.
Oh, how super exciting.
That was a good pun, Dave.
Well, I just added the word super in front of exciting because she's like Supergirl. It's really quite easy to do.
You didn't need to explain it, Dave.
You could even do like that was a super kick.
Well, I mean, now you're just wearing it out.
Now that was a super counter. That was a super hanging, getting her ass kicked.
Oh, that wasn't even Supergirl doing that, Dave, so that doesn't make sense anymore. And up next,
what's the next match, Dex?
Up next, we've got an interesting match, Dave. So if you recall, Jeff made a bizarre sort of matchup agreement where he put Darth Maul and Superman in a team in order for Darth Maul to have a shot at the title, and Superman walked out in the middle of the match, leaving Darth Maul to the mercy of Spiderman and Deadpool, which of course he lost.
It was a bit of a dick move, really.
And so Superman thought he had it in the bag and he wouldn't have to defend his title, but in a bit of a switch up from Jeff, he gave Darth Maul the opportunity to pick two other
Ladies and gentlemen,
contestants.
the following match is a handicap match. Introducing the first contender of the round, it's the current world champion, Superman!
As I was saying, he gave Darth Maul the opportunity to pick two contestants of his choice for this handicap match. So now Superman has to defend his title against three people,
So
Dave.
what are they bringing out the wheelchairs?
No, handicap just means that there's more people on one side.
I don't think the wrestling did that. It's quite amazing, like the Special Olympics where they let the
Dave,
people with disabilities compete
It's like
as well.
having a handicap in golf. It just gives you an advantage. That's all it means.
Yeah, having a handicap is definitely not an advantage.
Well, I mean, in this case, it is an advantage. It means, like, as Darth Maul was disadvantaged to begin with, so they've given him two extra people to make it an equal shot.
That's like a buff. Why wouldn't you just say it's a buff? I don't understand why you start bringing
We're not playing World
disabilities
of
into
Warcraft.
it, and autism and all that kind of stuff.
No one mentioned autism but you. And so it'll be interesting to see who Darth Maul has picked, because he had a choice of anyone he wanted.
Introducing his first contender, he's the Sith you don't want to miss, it's Darth Maul!
Now, I think Darth Maul is quite hungry for this title, and honestly, I just don't see how Superman can have any chance against a Sith Lord and whoever he's decided to partner up with for this match.
Well, considering he's not allowed to use his lightsaber or any of his Sith powers, he seems like it's kind of a little bit useless, really.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Where's his partners? You said he was going to be paired with people.
Well, they're going to come out next day. He's still getting his own entrance.
Like a bit of a show hog.
Considering he had like such a limited part in the films, I don't think he's a show hog at all.
Well, I mean, he didn't really have a choice in that matter.
I suppose not.
No one really wants to get sliced in half. Unless like you're into that kind of thing.
If you're a cheese block, you might want to get sliced in half.
I don't think even a cheese block wants to get sliced in half. Have you seen the movie Sausage Party? Food is terrified of
And
that
joining
experience.
Darth Maul, Freddy and Jason as the faces of fear!
And so he's picked some pretty horrifying partners, Dave. Jason and Freddy.
Well, they may be horrifying, but they got a pretty regular sounding names, don't you think? Like Jason or Freddy, those just sound like your next door neighbors. Like Freddy's the guy that like you just borrowed your lawnmower from. Oh look, it's Jason. How are the kids, Jason?
Well, I mean, what would be a horrifying name then, Dave?
I don't know, like what is that like thing from the Lovecraft doing? Like Cthulhu. Cthulhu, like that's the name that like you feel like you have to like cut your own tongue out to pronounce properly. That's a terrifying name. No one's gonna fuck with something called Cthulhu.
I don't know if that sounds all that terrifying, Dave.
Well, what about like Marduk or Malak? Oh yeah, something like that, something demonic.
Malak, that's just Greek for bullshit,
like
isn't it?
Kremlor or Death Destroyer.
Death Destroyer sounds so generic that it's not funny.
Yeah, but at least it's scary.
It's not really scary at all, Dave.
It's a little more scary than Jason or Freddy.
Oh,
I don't think fucking Bob.
I don't think the name really matters all that much. I mean, if you were confronted with Jason, I'm pretty sure you would shit yourself.
We'll agree to disagree there.
Okay, Dave. And so Superman's coming off to a strong start.
Well, if you can see, he's kind of
They recently announced that they might do a sequel to like the alternative universe Superman, where he was raised in communist Russia, Dave.
Why would they do that?
I guess it's just for an interesting storytelling experience where Superman is not in America and he's in communist Russia.
Speaking of communist Russia, you've been following, like, you know, what's been happening with Donald Trump Jr.? I cannot believe he's under fire for these so-called allegations that have been brought up in.
What do you mean allegations, Dave? He released his own emails that showed that he was colluding with a Russian lawyer.
Exactly. How does that not show his innocence right there if he's willing to publicly, like, show everybody, hey, this is what's on the table. I didn't do any colluding. I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it just makes sense to me if, like, you're going to be trying to, like, win a political campaign that you're going to be wanting to enlist all the help that you can get your hands on.
Well, I mean, firstly, I don't think he actually realized that he did something wrong, because I think he's that stupid. And secondly, you can't have another country as an ally during a USA presidential election, Dave. That's like in breach of their whole legal system.
But it doesn't make any sense. Who cares if they're from another country? If they're willing to help you out, like, why wouldn't you take their help?
Because it's illegal, Dave. Like, another country, a foreign power isn't supposed to have influence over the sovereignty of American
elections. Really still in that point in the world? Like, I didn't even think, like, you know, people care about who's from which country anymore, and all these ridiculous lines that we put in, like, the divide. Like, who cares? Who cares if they're Russian or Asian? I mean, like, that's reverse racism if I've ever heard it before.
No, in part, I actually agree with you there, Dave. But, I mean, the point still remains that Russia had a hand in the election in the United States and actively seek to discredit one side over the other. And until the point that we do have globalism, we have to respect nation sovereignties.
Hillary did that to herself. I mean, even if the Russians were helping, there's not really much they could do to help somebody that's setting themselves on fire. Like, they might have added a few more drops of oil, but she was still burning.
Yeah, well, I mean, she wasn't the obvious choice. Bernie Sanders was, but that's still not really the point. I don't know why Trump supporters always have to bring up Hillary. It's not even about Hillary anymore.
Well, it clearly was, because she was the one that
it
was
was,
going
but it's not anymore. It's about whether Donald Trump's cabinet has collusion.
Architecture got to do with this. Who cares, like, what kind of cabinet he's got in his house? It was probably a fine oak.
How did you even mix those words up, Dave? Cabinets have nothing to do with architecture.
Yeah, they do.
Architecture's the house.
No, what are you talking about? Like
you're thinking of furniture, Dave.
A bookshelf is art. Yeah, that's architecture.
It's not architecture. Architecture is how a house is designed.
A bookshelf is part of a house.
It's not built into the house's design. An architect doesn't include cabinets in his plans for a building.
You design bookshelves. Like,
he doesn't design bookshelves. A carpenter designs bookshelves. Dave.
He's going to design a house and put nothing in it? Just design an empty
He
house?
designs the floor plan, Dave. He doesn't actually design...
Like, who the hell's going to want to live in an empty house? You need furniture in there. You're going to design the furniture with the house.
He designs an empty house, and then an interior designer designs what gets put in the house.
That's just too many people involved in the process. I thought it was like you hire one guy to put everything in your house.
Well, you would, but that's an interior designer, not an architect.
No. I mean, like the guy that puts everything in your house. Like you hire one guy, he builds the house, switches the lights on,
Dave, the architecture...
adds the pipes, and then puts all the furniture and buys your TVs and shit.
In more cases than not, the architect doesn't even build the house, Dave.
What?
The builder builds the house.
What the hell's the architect doing then?
He designs how the house will be. Then he gives the plans to the builder, and the builder builds the house.
Sounds
and
like
then
he's
the
got a pretty
interior
easy job.
designer
I've designed
designs
plenty
the
of
house.
houses on little like napkins and stuff when I've been at restaurants and I've been bored.
Yeah, but
Can I
you
call
can't...
myself an architect?
You can't. No, you can't.
Why not?
You can't turn a napkin scribble into a house, Dave.
Yes, you can. That's what they're doing with their, like, you know,
No,
big blueprint
Dave, they measure
scribbles.
it out. Exactly,
I've
blueprints.
used a
Your
ruler.
napkin's not a blueprint, Dave.
I used a ruler. I mean, I didn't really like measure
might have
anything.
used
I just
a ruler,
get
but
it
you
for
didn't
like
use
the straight lines, really. Like, you know, I don't actually have to measure anything.
Well,
But
that's
if he
the
actually
point,
had any
Dave. You
skill,
didn't
he would
measure
have to measure.
anything.
Why does he have to measure anything? More to the point, it's not that hard to just draw a fucking triangle as a roof, and then just draw a square as the building, and then you draw some little other squares with like little crosses in them, and then the windows. Boom, house designed. See, I could be an architect.
You definitely couldn't, Dave. How would that translate into building a house at all?
You hand somebody, like you just said.
So how many bricks does that require?
You just said
how many
it's not
meters?
my job.
How many
You just
meters
said
is
it's
it?
not my job. I'm the architect. I'm the one that does the scribbles, and then I hand the scribble to somebody else, and then they do all the work.
No, they have to understand like how long a room's going to be, Dave.
Well, exactly. They
All
work
they
out.
do
They
is
hold
put
up
the
the
bricks
little,
down.
they hold up the napkin to the block of land of where it's going to be, and like they picture it. It's called using your imagination. Like fuck, can nobody use their imagination these days anymore?
That's
Does
not how it works,
Everything
Dave.
have to be done for them.
Yes, that exactly. It has to be done for them.
Oh, God, what are these people getting paid for then?
To create a design that can be done for them. You can't make money just by drawing on napkins, Dave.
Well, clearly, otherwise
Unless you're an artist.
I'd be a millionaire by now. Most of my great ideas come from napkin doodles.
Exactly, and I think the word great there should be omitted. Most of your ideas come from napkins, and that's why they're stupid and useless. Nothing useful came from a napkin, Dave.
It's just a matter of opinion. Are you kidding me? Most of the greatest ideas have come from napkins. Like
Name one.
Steve Jobs invented Apple on a napkin.
He didn't invent Apple on a napkin.
Yes, he
Dave.
did. He drew an apple one day. Boom. Next week, he was making computers with that Steve Was job.
Steve Wozniak.
That's what I said.
You said was job.
It's close enough.
It's really not, Dave. If
I
you're
mean,
going to make a statement, you can at least get it somewhat accurate.
Hey, this match is over.
It's not over, Dave. It was a 2 count.
But why did he put his hands up?
He was telling everyone that it wasn't a 3 count, Dave. You should know this by now.
It doesn't make sense. It's just adding confusion. Like you're telling people that it's not a 3 count by doing the very similar move to what is the 3 count. You may as well just do nothing if it's not a 3 count.
If it was a 3 count, the bell would have gone,
that
Dave.
it's not
You
a
should
3
know
count.
this. It's
People
been-
wouldn't understand it's not a 3 count by not just putting your fucking hands up. You don't need to put your hands up unless it's a 3 count. See, look, he's doing it again.
No, he's telling everyone that it wasn't a 3 count.
Just don't do anything.
If you're up in the back rafters,
Just
it's pretty
stand
hard
there.
to tell.
Why the hell does he have to put his hands up?
Because he's just telling everyone.
I mean, like when somebody scores a goal in like football, scores a point in football, nobody fucking lets them know. They only let them know if it's a goal. Who gives a shit about the points?
Dave, they also tell you if you get a point in football.
No, they don't.
They use one hand instead of
You
two.
know, that's the move along. Nothing to see here.
Anyway, we shouldn't be talking about football because most of our viewers don't know anything about AFL, Dave.
Well, they should.
Well, they're not Australian, Dave, so they wouldn't.
Well, I have to
And
know.
in fact, we're in America,
I know about
so-
basketball. I'm not American.
Oh.
I know about golf. I'm not Chinese.
What do you mean by Chinese, Dave?
Well, didn't golf come from China?
Nah, I don't think so, Dave.
I mean, I thought that's what they're all about, all those like Zen gardens and shit. It made a lot of sense to have like, you know, all the nice manicured greens and whatnot.
I don't think Zen Gardens have
But where did
anything
golf
to do
come
with
from?
golf.
Where did golf come from then?
I'm not too sure. It's probably American,
Doing it
Dave.
again. I mean, like everything can't come from America.
Oh, a lot of things do.
Yeah, but not everything.
Oh, no one's saying everything came
I mean,
from
look,
America.
a lot of greatness comes from America. I mean, clearly, like Donald Trump. Like being in power right now, the country can't help but exude greatness. He's really taking it to the next level, you must say. I mean, as much as like, you know, the news obviously isn't reporting like the real kind of follow-up of events, he really has like helped like elevate the country into like a whole next level.
I think he's actually done the complete opposite, Dave. In fact, at the G20 summit, he was pretty much an isolationist and some kind of like weird old man, annoying everyone. And while everyone else is moving forward with like climate change and
he was like a social
sustainable energy,
he was like bouncing from group to group. Like everybody wanted to like, you know, get a piece of the Trump.
No one wanted to even buddy shake his hand or talk to him, Dave, except for maybe Vladimir Putin.
Clearly they were too intimidated. Like I would be intimidated as well. Like I probably wouldn't feel worthy enough to shake somebody like Donald Trump's hand. I mean, how can I be on the same level as Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have as much chlamydia as him, sure. It's a good reason not to shake his hand. Maybe even syphilis or gonorrhea.
What are you saying right now? What are those things?
Sexual transmitted diseases, Dave.
You can get diseases from sex?
Yeah, of course you can, Dave.
Why did nobody
Where
tell
do you
me
think
that?
AIDS came from?
Monkeys and gay people. They said that.
Yeah, and how has it spread?
I don't know. I don't want
Someone had sex with a monkey, Dave.
How gay people have sex?
You don't know how gay people have sex. You were just talking about Brokeback Mountain before. How did they have sex in that?
They didn't show anything. I don't know how it happened.
They showed everything. What are you talking about?
They didn't. He just kind of...
Even like he spit and everything.
He just cuddled up to him in the sleeping bag, and then that was it. I thought that's all it was. Like, because like, they can't have sex, so all they can do is cuddle. It sounded kind of nice. Like, I was thinking about being gay for a little while, because I'm like, I could just go around cuddling everybody.
When they're cuddling, where do you think the penis ends up, Dave?
I don't know, just so they kind of like tucked it between their legs, like tucked it out of the way.
Go a little bit higher than that, Dave.
No, nobody wants to have that rubbing against them.
Well, I mean, gay people do. That's the whole point.
Well, a lesbian doesn't want a penis rubbing up against her.
That's why she's a lesbian, Dave.
Exactly.
What's that got to do with gay people?
Well, you just said gay people like penises rubbing against them. Like, lesbians clearly do not like penises rubbing against them. I know this
but male gays
from
do.
personal experience.
What do you mean by that, Dave?
Well, I once saw a man rubbing his penis up against a lesbian, and she really didn't like it.
Was the man you, Dave? I mean, you said it was personal experience.
Well, yeah, I saw it. I saw another guy rubbing his penis.
It was you, wasn't it, Dave?
I saw another guy.
You were trying to hit on a lesbian, weren't you, Dave?
Well, I mean, you can't, like, you know, like, he's not help but see that as, like, a little bit of a challenge. I mean, they know what they're doing by announcing the fact that they're a lesbian at a party. As soon as they say that magic word, it just starts setting thoughts into everyone's head.
I don't think that's the case at all, Dave. It's the opposite.
I can't be the only one thinking, like, when a lesbian says that she's a lesbian, she's not really saying she's a lesbian. She's just saying, hey, I'm looking for a guy that really knows what he wants and is really willing to go that extra mile to show me.
I don't think you're the only guy, but it certainly wouldn't be a nice club to be involved in, Dave.
What? Who's mentioning clubs?
Well, it'd put you in a club of male chauvinists, that's for sure.
I wasn't even mentioning any kind of gentlemen's clubs or anything like that at all. I don't know, like, what chauffeurs have got to do with this at all.
I never said anything about a chauffeur, Dave.
You just said the word chauvinist. Like, I don't know, you pronounce
Chauvinist.
it. Yeah, that word.
Means a male supremacist, Dave.
There's definitely nothing supreme
about a chauffeur. Who would be in the line of thinking that a lesbian only is a lesbian because she wants a man.
Chauffeurs are quite low in the way. No, it's I'm sure there's real dykes that exist out there in the world. I'm talking about the lesbians that, you know, announce the fact that they're a lesbian. They really make a big deal out of the fact that they're a lesbian.
Could you explain that a little more, Dave? Because I'm not following what you mean.
Well, if, like, for instance, like, you're at a party, right, and there's, like, some girl that all of a sudden, like, you know, you say, hey, I think you're really hot and I think you're really attractive. And she's like, I'm not interested, I'm a lesbian. She's clearly trying to, like, you know, drop some breadcrumbs there.
I'm pretty sure she's doing the opposite, Dave. She's telling you she's not interested and she's giving you a pretty legitimate reason as to why.
Yeah, you say it like that, but I feel like this is why, like, you know, it's why most guys, like, stay single, because they're not willing to, like, you know, pick up on, like, the women are all about subtlety, you know what I mean? They're all about the signals. It's all about saying with their eyes, not with their words.
I'm pretty sure, like, it's in, like, the law that they have to say it with their words, Dave.
Well, what law?
Otherwise, it's rape.
Wait, no, I mean, that's... I guess James Bond is a rapist then.
Well, no, because they didn't say no to him.
Well, they didn't
But
say...
I mean, they have to, like, verbally consent.
Well,
sometimes
sometimes they did. I mean, like, he would get, like, really kind of forceful with them, and they'd be like, no, Mr. Bond, don't, no, Mr. Bond, no, Mr. Bond.
Yeah, well, that would be rape in today's standards.
But why? Well, you can't just change the standards. How do they change the standards? I mean, that's going to say that, like, if I then talk to a girl in the future,
black people aren't slaves anymore.
She doesn't want me to say hello to her. Like, I haven't asked permission to say hello to her anymore. What the hell's black people got to do with this?
Well, you said you can't change the standards. Well, we change the standards for black people. They're now people.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you change the standards for gay people?
By giving them more and equal rights, like marriage. And I don't know how he got onto gay from rape, but it goes the same that forcefully willing yourself onto a woman is now rape, whereas in the 50s, probably not so much.
You get what I'm saying? You can't just, like, change your mind.
But
that's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope, Dex, because in the future...
What?
That's what I'm trying to say. In the future, we don't know if I say hello to a girl, if I haven't asked permission to say hello to her first, will that be verbal rape?
No,
I could look at a girl and she won't like that, and I raped her.
That's just ridiculous, Dave. There's a big difference between saying hi or looking at a girl to, like, forcefully having sex with her.
That's the current standards, but what if they change the standards?
Well, then that would be the wrong standards, wouldn't it? And people wouldn't agree to it.
How do people... Who's the stand... Is there, like, a board of people, like, doing these, like, making these standards?
Yes, Dave.
And who is...
So the government does.
Who is policing the board?
What do you mean? There's, like, opposing politicians in different groups that argue and debate over these sort of things and create laws all the time.
No one wants to talk about boring politics.
But everything you're talking about is intrinsically linked to politics, Dave.
How?
Because it's a political issue.
I don't see like politicians got anything to do with this. It's our business.
Yeah, and they're the ones that make the laws that say rape is rape, or that looking at a girl isn't rape. I'm saying,
I just don't like the idea that all these laws are created by a whole bunch of individuals that I got nothing to do with, and I've got no say in like what happens if I like, you know.
You do have a say. You elect your leaders, Dave.
Agree or disagree with the laws, yeah, but not on individual things.
That's because you don't bother to read what their politics are about.
Well, I mean, I don't need to.
Well, you clearly do if you don't think you're electing on individual issues, because that's exactly what they run to the election with.
That's why I like Donald Trump, because he finally like injected a sense of honesty into politics again.
He's probably lied more than anyone, and he doesn't even lie good. I mean, Donald Trump Jr. just lied about his emails. He said he didn't have anything to do with Russia, and then he comes out and says, oh, actually, I emailed Russia.
Well, he didn't have anything to do with the colluding of Russia. He clearly was like, he admitted he had a meeting to Russia. That's honesty. That's upfront honesty right there.
But he formally denied that he had anything to do with it.
Honesty right there.
It isn't.
No,
he said two different things.
See, it's misinterpreting. This is why the media is so bad, because they take one little line of text and then they blow that up into a headline, and it's completely misinterpreted.
Well, I mean, if you don't think that meeting with a lawyer...
If I had sex with a seagull, right, they would just say, Dave fucked seagull. Well, they wouldn't have any kind of context into, like, why I fucked the seagull, or what led up to the seagull getting fucked by me.
I don't think there's any kind of context where fucking a seagull's okay, Dave.
Well, I mean, that's it. If you don't know the context, like, you're never going to be able to, like, you know, see, like, the different angle, like... He could have asked for one...
Dave, it doesn't matter what angle you're on, fucking a seagull's not right.
He could have asked for one chip too many.
That's still not a good reason to fuck a seagull, Dave.
Well, if you've got a better one, I'd like to hear it.
There's no good reason to fuck a seagull.
Have you met a seagull before? They're fucking rats with wings. And at least one of them should be fucked.
Probably just to teach
the rest a lesson. They just spread a word of mouth. If one seagull got fucked, I guarantee you there's no way they'd be coming back again.
Well, they don't have like a community where they would tell each other not to go near you because they get fucked.
Well, they would. They communicate.
That's not how things work, Dave. And we'll be right back for more of the Royal Rumble. Thanks for tuning in.